Mazda wants to know what's the matter with me, and I don't know.
Okay, page 25. So, percent. When we talk about percentage, well, this isn't just straightforward percent. This is going to be percent of change.
Oh, I love
Okay.
this.
When we have a percent, okay, let's just talk about percentages for a moment. Percentages, like if I say 50%.
Of.
Right, so if I say
50%.
50% of a number, so if I say 50% of, let's say 20,
Then you would do.
so you would do
0.50
0.50 times 20. Or you might even just think if it's something like 50%, it's usually pretty easy to do in your head. 50% is half, so half of 20 would be 10. So when we talk about percentages, first of all, percent, if we change it to a rate, we move the decimal over to the left 2 places. That look familiar?
Yeah.
Or if you have a rate and you change it to a percent, then we move the decimal over to the right 2 places. But in this section, okay, because we're going to assume you had percent somewhere, probably middle school. Okay, now we want to take it a step further. We want to look at percent of change. So percent of change, you can have an increase
Wait, wouldn't it be
or a
also-
decrease.
Sorry, don't you do for this can you also do like for the A like 50 over 45 equals P over 100?
Good. So that would be just when solving percent problems. We say is over of equals the
I struggled with this for like my entire life.
the percent over 100. So that's when we just solve a problem like this last one. That's just another way to do it. We can always solve it with a proportion. But when we do percent of change, it's going to be a little bit more involved, okay? First of all, when you have a percent increase, so for example, you go to the store and you buy a shirt. The shirt's never what it says on the tag, right? It says $35. But do you pay $35? No.
Plus taxes.
Okay, you always have to add taxes. So that's considered a percent increase. Or what if it's on sale?
So it'd be like 50% decrease.
Right, so
And
if,
it's decrease, do you divide it?
no,
No.
it's, you'll see. There's a formula that we're going to use.
Yeah, like
If it's a percent increase, that means our new value is greater than our original value. So for example, when we go to buy a shirt at the store, right?
Yeah.
The price tag that you see is not the same as when you go to the register. So the register, that new value is going to be bigger than the original because you had that percent added. Okay, that sales
Can I
tax.
ask a quick question?
Sure.
How come in Oregon they're
Okay.
getting sales tax? Like
So each state, those are state laws. So every state has a different percent of sales tax. So for example, like Delaware does not have any sales tax. Pennsylvania, where I'm from, has a 6% sales tax.
Isn't that a lot lower than we have?
So if you have, but now here's the thing. So like Pennsylvania, for example, you do not pay tax on any luxury items.
Right.
Or you pay tax only on luxury items, excuse me. So like for example, a shirt is something that you need, so you won't pay tax on a shirt. So
about food.
food you don't pay tax on.
But it's like
Unless
It's like
you
necessities of life.
unless you go okay, so certain things you do have to pay a tax on.
Like toys.
So toys and like you talked about food, but if you go to a restaurant, you pay sales tax because going to a restaurant
You have to pay the
is
workers
not
too.
some like when you buy groceries, you don't pay tax on that because you need groceries, right? You need milk, you need eggs, you need blah
It's
blah
not
blah.
a necessity to go out to dinner.
Exactly. So every state has its different rules. California, California has a sales tax, and then on top of that, sometimes counties or cities will have additional sales tax. So what is ours right now? Like 9.75.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that's the state, and maybe sometimes, like I said, the county adds additional tax to that
Thousand Oaks is cheaper than it is here.
What is tax?
because it's
County.
that's not that's a different county. That's why. Los Angeles County has a higher tax that helps pay for whatever road repairs or things like that. Yes.
What about like the if there's like if you're buying
Okay, so that we have a formula for that. So how do you figure it out?
Yeah.
That's the formula that we're going to look at. Okay? And actually there's a formula on the next page that will help us figure out the new value. But for right now, to find out the percent of change, here's our formula. Now we see the word difference. You see this word difference here? What does difference mean? Subtract. Now it says subtract the new and the original value. So usually when I think of this, I think of like whichever one's bigger, I put first, just so we don't end up with a negative answer. It's really not that important. Just when you're all done, you just want to make sure the percent is positive. Okay, so here's our first example. It says state whether each of the following is a percent increase or decrease. Then find the percent of change. Okay, a jacket whose original price was $50 now sells for $45. So did the price go up or go down?
Down.
Okay, so that means it was, this is going to be a percent decrease.
But how can you
I
tell?
got 10%.
Okay.
How can you tell? Like,
Mm-hmm.
Did I get it right?
so like this. I don't know how to ask you a question.
Okay, let's go through the formula, all right? Because the last class we talked about ratios and proportions. We're solving using ratios and proportions here. Difference of the new value and the original. Okay, so the original was 50, and the new value, right here, is 45. So I want to take 50 minus 45 over, okay, so the proportion, we're going to put that over the original value. The original was $50 equals P. You can use X, you can use any letter that you want. I just use the P standing for percent. And we're always going to put this over 100. Okay? All right. Now, what's 50 minus 45? Wait, 15 or 5? Okay, now this is where we're going to use what we learned in the last lesson, which was to cross multiply. So I want to take,
So you have 500 equals 50.
so I'm going to do it here, 50p, right, and then 5 times 100 is 500, and then I'm going to divide.
I think is that right? Hopefully, and then you get
10.
10.
So, whoops.
So my question is it now $10 or 10%?
Okay, this is finding the actual percent of change. So it's a 10% decrease. Because there are basically two questions.
Wait, I got it right.
Did the price go up or did the price go down?
It
Down.
Went down, so that's a
It's down.
decrease. And then what is it? When we cross multiplied and everything, it was 10. So this would be like, let's say you were in one of those states that didn't have sales tax, and you went to a rack and it had like the 10% off. So if it was $50, then that means when you go to the cash register, it would say it would ring up at $45. So that's a 10%. So 10%, does that sound like a good deal? If it's 50 and you went down to 45?
It's okay.
It's
This is
okay.
something.
It's $5 off. But now it makes you think about what if it was 30% off or what it was 40% off. Obviously, the higher the percent off, the better the deal. Yeah.
So how come they don't do like instead of making things complicated? How come they don't just do like $5 off?
I think that that's
Because percent makes people think of like a bigger number. So like,
you know, it depends. Some people can do the mental math and figure out how much it is.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people see 5% off or 10% off, and they're like, oh, that's a good deal. And then it might not be such a great deal.
So how much is 5% off?
5% is even smaller.
Like $1, $2?
So you could figure out what 5% off of
10, right?
Wait, for the next one.
it would be $2.50.
For the next one would be
Okay,
Sorry,
let's look at the
negative
next one.
35.
So a house valued at 100,000 years ago, or $100,000 10 years ago. So this is the original. Now is valued at 135,000. Okay, So I want to take the new and the original, the difference. This time I'm going to put 135,000 and I'm going to subtract 100,000 over the original equals P over 100. So subtract 135,000 minus 100,000.
So it's 35.
Right, 35,000. Now, you have a choice here. If you want to cancel out some zeros, if that's easier for you, it's fine. I probably would, just looking at, I'm going to cancel one here, here. So I can cancel 3 zeros in the top and 3 zeros in the bottom.
10, right?
Exactly, over 100.
That's what I meant.
So 35 over 100 equals P over 100. Now some of you might see that you don't even really need to cross multiply here. Do you see how the denominators are both the same?
Yeah.
Wait, isn't it 135 over 100?
So then you just do 35p over 100.
Yeah, you could do
So
30.
it equals 35.
How do you
Right.
go from 135 to just 35?
Oh,
I canceled out some zeros.
No.
Oh, I subtracted, and then I canceled out the zeros. Okay, so I get 100p equals 30,
Wait, how come you canceled out the zero?
just to make it an easier problem. So I'm going to divide by 100, and I get P is 35. Oh, we forgot to mention, is this a percent increase or a decrease?
Increase.
Good, so it's a 35%
Thank you.
increase.
Bless you again.
Thank you.
Okay, let's try the next one. 66 is the original. The new value is 30.
So you do 66 over 30.
How about 66 minus 30
6 minus 30.
over
66.
equals
And
P?
36 over 66.
Okay, so I have, remember, the top left side, we're always subtracting. Okay, so just take the bigger one minus the smaller one. So Riley, you said 36 over 66.
Equals P over 100.
Okay, now I'm going to cross multiply. Now I'm going to go over here. So 66 P equals 3,600.
Divided by 60.
I'm going to divide both sides by 66. Somebody have a calculator?
I'll do it. 1 second. Want it.
So 3,600 divided by 66.
500 divide 545, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45.
So.
Wait a minute.
45.45 because 5
Not
or
a good
bigger
problem.
makes it a bigger number, and I feel sick, and my mommy's getting me soup. Kel's bae.
Okay,
JD, how much a bae is Kel?
somebody turn their phone.
Can I do this problem on my calculator?
I do.
Sucks.
I do.
So,
My girlfriend is sick.
so guys, when it doesn't come out exact, so on the calculator,
Who texted you?
so normally in my directions I would say to round to the nearest whole number or to the 10th. For right now, let's round to the 10th place, which is the one right after the decimal.
Oh.
So if this is a 4, that means it stays the same. So we'll say 54.5. And was this a percent increase or decrease?
It was a decrease.
Decrease, because it got smaller.
Making peace. And it's really nice when we did the new agreement. And it was just like
Thank you.
Okay, so the next page is where we're talking about the sales tax and how to figure out, so you should be able to do this if you go to the store and they say, all right, a shirt is a certain price or whatever you might have, what's gonna be the total value when you get to the register,
You're gonna
okay?
have to.
So you're gonna take your original value, okay,
Added to the original value.
times the tax rate, okay?
Why is there 2 original values?
Because one is, you have to take the original value plus, this is the tax that you would pay.
So you have to do the original price
So right here,
plus the okay,
this
plus-
is the tax amount. So it's the original plus the tax that you're paying. will give you the total value. Okay, so let's look at the next one. A new DVD costs $24.99. What is the total cost if the sales tax is 9.75%? So first thing that we need to do is let's take this percent. So 9.75%, change that to a rate. In order to do that, we need to take the decimal and move it to the left 2 places. So if I end up with, if I move it to 2 places to the left, I had like a missing spot.
Wait, but why do you
That's how you change a percent to a rate. So to change a percent to a rate, move the decimal left 2 places. Right? Do you guys remember that? Moving a percent, just move it 1, 2 to the left. And if you have a blank spot, you always put in a 0.
So it should be 0.0975.
It's pretty self-explanatory. Let's go to the rest.
Okay, so now we're going to put it into this formula. What's the original value? Right here, $24.99 is the original. So it's going to be $24.99 plus 24, whoops. Times 0.0975. And this is going to give us the total value. Okay. This is going to tell me how much I have my tax on, and then I have to add it to the original. Remember, if it's $24.99, you want to make sure that your answer makes sense. If you have something for $25, will it make sense to add something, you know, does it make sense for your tax to be $25 or $40? No. If you're adding tax, it should only be a few dollars if something is 25 to begin with.
a percent of the number.
Right, so here I have $24.99, and now on the calculator, you guys do need your calculators for this lesson, so $24.99, and I'm going to multiply that by 0.0975.
For the
Be very careful.
I cannot read.
What's that?
Is there a decimal in 24.99?
Yeah, there's a decimal right here,
I just can't see. I'm sorry.
right there. Now, when I look at my amount, remember, when we're talking about money, we want our answer to make sense. So what would be a reasonable amount of tax if I'm rounding to what place?
$3.
What's money?
Oh.
We have dollars, but then we also have cents. So we want to round to the nearest cent. Let's look at this.
So you get 2.
If this is $2.40, what would be the nearest cent?
44.
44, because that number here
Oh,
is a
okay.
6, which makes it go up. So we want to put 244, so that's our total. So now add those two together. So I have $24.99 plus $2.44. Oops, I forgot my 9.
27.43.
Miss Kingston? Can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah. There, I missed a 9. So 27. I just, what was it? 27.
27.43.
That's my total amount. Which that sounds pretty reasonable. If you have something for $25, it makes sense to add $2.44 to that to have the tax. Okay. This one is a little more difficult. The price of $100 reflects a 5% increase. What is the original price? So this time, we don't know what that is. Just say it's X. This is our total value. Now remember what our formula was? It was the original.
You mean the original? Total and original are the same thing.
No, right here. Original plus original value times the tax rate equals the total. we're gonna use that formula. What would that look like?
Oh,
So,
it'd be $100.
okay.
No.
But $100 is what it's equal to.
So,
So it'd be X.
Good.
We use X's.
Plus, what's
Right.
this as a
X
rate?
plus 5%.
How about 0.05 times x equals 100? Let me make sure you guys understand. So it's the original price plus 5% times the original
Wait, how does
equals
it-
the total. Remember, we have to change this to a rate. Okay, now this is where our algebra comes in. These are like terms. Think of this as a 1 in front. So 1 plus 0.05 would be 1.05x, and that equals 100. Now what would we do? We would divide both sides.
By 1.05.
Good. And again, this is a calculator problem. You're going to want to have your calculator handy while you do the homework tonight. So I have...
95.23809.
Okay, so again, this is a case.
Wait, sorry, I don't get how to write it. So we do 105.
1 plus 0.05x. So when we add 1 and 0.05, we get 1.05. We combine like terms.
I
It's
know,
just
but where do we get the 1?
because when nothing is in front of the coefficient, there's still just a 1.
It'd be 95.24.
95.24. So the original price equals 95.24. All right, does that make sense?
Yes.
So this is just showing us how to get the rate.
Yeah, and the same thing's gonna happen. Okay, so the next one we're gonna look at is instead of sales tax,
Discount.
the discount, which we like better, right?
So much fun.
So this is when we have the regular price is reduced, that's our discount. So original, and we're gonna take away the original value times the tax, and we'll get total value. Okay, so here, there's our original. What would this be, what would the rate be if it's 20%?
It would be
Point.
0.25.
0.20?
I meant
25
It's okay.
is the dollar amount.
Okay, so now I want to take the original, so that's 25 minus the original value times the discount, and that's going to give us our total.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's the thing where you just do 25 times?
That's
Like
just
20.
the percent. That would just be the so if I
Gotcha.
if I just said it was 20% off, you could figure out how much you saved.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so the only difference is when we're doing a sale, like a rate discount, you subtract it.
Exactly, that's the only difference. Sales tax you add, reduced price you subtract. That's all.
That makes sense.
Okay, what's 25 times 0.20?
It's 5.
5.
That's 0.2. That's 0.2. Yeah, but it's just 0.
25 times 0.2
5.
is 5. Okay, so our total
It's 20.
is 20.
Minus.
So if you have a DVD that costs $25 and it's 20% off, you pay $20.
But I thought that if it's 20, 10% off, it's like $5.
Okay, so if it's,
Is it like just all?
it all depends on your original amount.
Okay.
Okay, so both of these depend on each other.
Can I charge my phone instead of having it?
Yeah, I think next class you guys need to just tuck your phones away from you.
I agree.
Hiding in your bag. She She knows where you are. Okay. Let's give these a try. Let's go to the class practice problems. Do I have anybody that wants to, should we just work through them first and then I'll get volunteers? There's 3 problems.
Can I try one?
You want to try one first?
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'll be able to do it, but
All right, we'll work you through, we'll help you work through it.
can you see them?
The marker?
No,
Tablet?
yeah, tablets. Sit.
Oh, you want to sit.
Yes,
Wait,
can I
is
use
this?
Thank you.
Okay, so you guys are going to try these at your seat. You can help me. She's going to work through the first one. Okay. First of all, if you start with 72 and you end up with 36, so we're going to take 72.
I want to erase this. It's too big.
So we're going to take what? If we're just finding percent increase or decrease, we want to subtract. What are we going to subtract? We're going to take 72
Minus 36
minus
over
36.
over.
Yeah, remember what the formula was. It was the difference of the new and the original.
Oh, it's 36.
Right, so that would be 72 minus 36 over the original. What was the original? 72. Equals, and then that's the percent, that's what we're looking for. Over 100.
Equals.
Where did you get that?
Remember the formula. Okay, so when you're doing your homework tonight, I want you to refer back to the formulas that we had in our notes packet, where it was the difference of new and original.
So does it always be over 100?
Yes. Yes. Every time you do a percent problem, it should be
What's 72 minus 36?
32. 36, yeah. 36,
What's 36 times 100?
36, 1. Yeah.
36.
3,600.
Yes, Miss Casa, 36,100.
Well, I was going to say 3,600, and then I was like, yes, yes, yes.
I think I wrote
I thought it's
36.
50.
Did I write 36,000?
Yeah, it's 50.
It's 3,600. And then divide by 72.
Wait, how do you know if it's an increase or a decrease?
Okay, so we need to write that down also. So as BB is writing down, she's going to divide by 72.
How do you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, look at the original.
If the original is smaller.
Right, so the original is 72. Just click the X.
Oh, then it's a decrease.
If the new value is 36, did the new value get bigger or did it get smaller?
Smaller.
It got smaller. So is that an increase or a decrease?
Or a decrease.
I'm confused as to how we got 72 minus 36 to just be 36.
Okay,
Because
difference of the new and
72 times
original.
2.
What's the
I mean,
difference
70
between these
36 times 2
two?
is 72.
Wait, what?
Here, take the difference between these two. That's 36.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay.
it should be,
I got
here, I have it over there on my side. She just didn't.
Does anybody
write
know
this.
what? Does
She
anybody
didn't
know
write
what?
this step.
Sorry, I will write it right now.
Ooh.
36 over 72 equals P over 100. And P equals 3600.
P equals 50. Okay. And what did we say?
Equals what?
50%. And what is it? Increase or decrease, did we say?
Decrease.
Decrease.
Decrease. Good. So just write the word decrease.
Oh, what did I even do?
I don't know.
Can I do the next one?
Oh, here.
Click on the one that's hard to.
Aw, the kids are so cute.
So that's decrease. Whoa. Okay.
At what?
I don't know what happened there.
Can I do the next one?
Okay. Let's take a look at the next part.
I love writing on that thing.
Why?
Do you guys remember the movie Spectacular?
Yeah.
Okay, this one.
Calculator.
Oh, I have to write that whole thing
I'm
down.
not a horrible child.
All right, guys. So next one is going to be the total price. So how do we find price, we need to take the original value. So it's original plus the original times the rate. Okay, so Jade's writing down $15.99, and then she's gonna take $15.99 and multiply that to the rate. If it's 8.75%, then we can rewrite that as 0.0875, right? Moving it to the left 2 places. Okay, so next we need to multiply that out. Remember, order of operations, we always have to multiply that rate times the original amount first before we add it.
Should I write this like weird number?
Let's write it's $1.40. So it's $15.99. So this,
I got 11.
so it's $15.99 plus $1.40, because it came out to be.
Where'd you get $1.40?
Well,
Here, do you want to show?
okay.
Here, let's clear this.
Okay. So, ow.
Just show the
So, 15.99
it's 15
times the rate, which is 0.0875
Okay, now press enter.
equals
Okay,
that.
when we look at this.
But then you have to round.
1.40.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a 9. So that would make this, what, if it's $1.39, what would we round up to?
140.
$1.40. Does that make sense? Because if this goes, the 9 goes up to a 0, so that makes the 3 become a 4. It's easier to think of it as 39 rounds up to 40. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
$1.39 rounds up to
Oh, okay,
$1.40.
that's fine.
Okay, just click back on there. And then add those two together. So $15.99 plus $1.40. And so the nice thing is if you round to the cents here, then automatically you'll get that here. So $17.39 is the total. Good.
Oh, I got that answer.
All right.
Yeah, Beebs.
I got 17 points.
She's all you need, that's so cute.
Okay, volunteer for number 3. We'll
Ooh.
work through it.
I will do it. I volunteer as tribute. I'm doing it right now. 1 5. This girl.
So excited for lunch.
Yes.
Oh.
What time is this over?
Okay,
25.
get ready for my writing skills, guys.
Never mind, it's over at 30.
It's over 25. I zoomed in.
Oh.
Wait, give me the pen for a minute.
Okay.
You're good to go. Okay, last one, guys. Last one.
Can I really quickly change the color of this?
You can change. All right, so this one is a discounted price. We have jeans are $45, and it's a 25% discount. So basically, the only difference between this and the last one is instead of a plus sign,
It's a minus
we
sign.
want to make that a minus sign. Good.
So you
It'll
write.
help you be out. So
No,
we
I
have
could do it, I could do it.
$45. So $45 minus. Do it, Rad?
Minus
$45 times.
8 times 25.
No.
0. Yeah, I know. Point. Yeah. I got it. The rate.
Oh.
Sorry.
And then what's that
You
as a
came in my
rate?
last class too.
Who is that?
$25 or 25% turns to what?
0.025.
Just 0.25. 0.25. 0.25. You don't need a 0 this time.
Video of the color you said.
Me too.
Okay. All right, Phoebe.
Does anybody know what that is?
$45.
It's
Here.
11.25.
Click on the calculator.
All right.
So 45 times 0.25. So 45 times 0.25 equals
11.
11.25.
That's
Good.
what I want.
So we have $45
Then you get 33 points.
minus
Excuse me.
11.25. And what do we get for the new total price?
33.75.
I can actually do some
What do you get? 33.7. Wait, what's the total?
33.75.
33. Oh. Okay.
What?
No, just if you click on something, like at the bottom, like the keyboard pops up. Or like she
Oh.
was pressing earlier, the button on the side, and then my
I was like,
kids' pictures
What's
show.
wrong? I was like, what?
Okay, we kind of get back to where we started. So $33.75 is the total price.
Can we get out to it early? One more time.
No.
Molly, I really like your shoes.
Thank you. I want your jeans.
No, I like them. I just bought them yesterday. Me and Emily fit in the same size jeans, always.
Me, my mom, my twin sister, and my grandma have the same size jeans.
No, but Emily.
Emily is a shoe goddess,
Shoe goddess.
is what she's trying to say.
Emily is an everything goddess.
Shut up.
You guys know it's recording.
What's recording?
Everything that you say.
You know my
Oh,
sister's
hi,
the
Tommy.
biggest
I love
baby.
you.
Mommy, I love you. You're my little lamb. I really lost without you today. I love you so much.
Guess what? I'm sick too. I feel you, brother. We're like spiritually connected.
But except for my
Anyone else?
Oh yeah, my
My
girlfriend.
sister is the
Get better.
my sister is the